We are out in the middle of nowhere and just completed a pretty grim, grueling hike down that steep canyon side there to reach a very old historical mine site for which we had very low expectations and therefore primarily just brought hiking gear. Well, as you know, when you tempt fate by doing something like that, you come across a mining camp, abandoned mining camp, but relatively recently abandoned mining camp. Loads of artifacts, and perhaps of most interest to us, an open mine. So this one obviously was dug out. I'm standing about where the original portal would have been, and you can see it looks like it caved back, and then the last miners that worked here, it's been a few years, but the last miners that were here obviously had to dig this out and did so all of the way back to here. That is a pretty dramatic portal now. See all the roots hanging down from above? That is impressive, to say the least. And actually, considering there's no road in here, there's a trail in here. So the miners that dug this out would have had, they were limited to whatever you could bring in on an ATV. So for them to dig all of this out is pretty damned impressive. First glance, I see rail, and it's open. Well, I'm pretty curious about this. I think I'll put my stuff down, and let's get inside here, see how this looks, and we'll take a closer look at the abandoned mining camp. All right, just at the portal here. Looks pretty good. Looking ahead, I see rail, and there's a little side drift right here. But that just goes back to a caved area there. That's been caved for a while. Dog's getting a drink. Okay, I have a side drift to the right. Open it up, got a good supply of beer and possibly some moonshine on that jar. I'm assuming that's the same. Got the coolers there behind me. Let's see how things look going ahead. They don't look very good at all, actually. I wonder if, oh, looks like they got a way around that. Got some shovels right here. Pick. It looks like a failed stope. Looks like terrible ground, to be honest. Oh man. Yeah, I thought this was a stope, but I think this is just a serpentine that's failed. I don't see any sign of a stope. I think that's just bad ground. You can see they put in the lagging and such here. Man. And then it gets wet. So I'm gonna have to backtrack and put on some different footwear. Alright, back with the top tier mine exploring footwear. I don't remember if I mentioned, but it was a long, steep hike to get down here, so we went minimal on the gear, also with the expectation that this would have long ago eroded shut. And of course, when you prepare like that, you get situations like this. So this will get very chilly in a moment, but it's got to be done. And with our luck, it's going to go 20 feet around the bend and then stop. And we'll have gotten cold and muddy for nothing. But, ooh, man, you've got to check these things. Oh boy, that's cold. Wow. You know, the initial shock hits you and it's just, wow. Oh man, that's cold water. Ooh. It actually hurts. It actually hurts. Alright, see a bend to the left up there. And it looks like it might actually come back out of the water. I hope it does. Because this is painfully cold right now. That was a little quartz vein right there. I hear Jake behind me.
Make sure you stir up the mud so I can't see.
Will do. I'll especially try and do that over any winzes.
Oh, it's deeper than I thought.
Yep, same here. Okay, we got something going off to the left. I wonder if that loops around. I'm gonna not go down there right now. I'm gonna stick to the right hand rule. Mostly just because I want to get out of the water. It's getting shallower. Alright, great, we are out of the water. You see they were heading that direction, then chose to go to the left here. Wow. I see a lot, looks like dog, yeah, a lot of dog prints in here, and they're not from the dog that we brought. And that's the face. So you were pretty much right, dude. You said about 20 feet around the bend, and then we'd hit.
Don't worry, that little side pocket actually goes.
It goes forever, huh?
Well, it's just like the descriptions describe, these thin stringer.
Yeah.
For veins in here, not much. Great echo.
Yeah, as I was going to say, surprisingly good echo considering how bad the ground is near the beginning. It looks like a carbide bit of graffiti. Alright. Let's go. See, he at least has the water socks. I don't even have the water socks. Oh, I didn't see this on the way in. There's more quartz right there. Alright, back in like freezing water. Of course, that's the way we came in. Taking a right now. Man, I am looking forward to getting out of this water. Does it keep going?
No. Yeah, technically it goes up, but it's naturally just gouged falling out.
Okay.
It goes up quite a ways, like 30 feet.
Curious little something here. They obviously supported this. I guess they were either working this out or they were concerned about it. Probably concerned about it. Interesting. Some tricky places.
I pulled my shoe right off.
Nice. I'll probably do the same. Yeah, it's pretty gross and mucky. So that was not even like we stopped at a face. We didn't even get stopped by a collapse. So this is not what I would call a gigantic mine. Yeah, that is indeed the end of the line on this side. And it's definitely, yeah, this is definitely fault. You see the flat face here, and the material's caved down, and looks like some quartz right there, a little bit. So the only thing I can think is if they were actually going after the fault gouge here, which, as I was starting to show you, oh man, it's hard moving around in here. Starting to show you, runs up here. Oh yeah, see the quartz stringers in there. This actually must be pretty valuable mineral wise. Turn around and get you a better view. Oh yeah. Okay, that's turned around and you can see they were chasing this fault gouge up. That's 30 feet over my head. And obviously, you get a ladder or something in here. It would have been easy to climb up that vertical part and then just scurry up there, drop material down to where I'm standing, and then process it. That's very soft material, so I don't think they would have even needed a mill for that. And then this is all the fault gouge that was falling down. See some quartz in there. Obviously very highly mineralized. And that's it. Just finished exploring the mine, and there's a lot of cool stuff, historical stuff that was left down here. You can see the old drill steel here in front of me. Now, as I think I've mentioned, this is a very remote, difficult to access site. And what that means is that all the stuff from the original miner was just left here, which normally that stuff gets hauled away by either the miners themselves selling stuff or souvenir hunters. Right here you can see the remains of an ore car in front of me. There's another, I don't know if this must have been an ore car. I was thinking an ore car or flat car, but looking at this frame, that was an ore car. You've got that old wheelbarrow. This may have been a wooden ore car, which I think you guys know how rare those are. Something really interesting is that it had a brake on it. See the brake on the ore car? That is extraordinary. Now, taking a look at this took some looking at to try and figure out what we're seeing, but we think this might have been a little mini stamp mill. You've got, it looks like a stamp here. You've got the cam right there that you would expect for a single stamp. And
the wheel for power.
The wheel for power.
Mount with a hole through it the same diameter roughly as that shaft.
Good point. Good point.
And then that cam would be
lifting
the interface there.
Yeah, lifting this.
And, this might actually be a shoe in here.
Oh.
Yeah, because look, just like a large stamp mill, here's the feed chute coming out.
Oh, he's right. He is absolutely right.
So that stamp would have come down here on this, or a shoe, a replaceable shoe
right.
you put in.
And then the crushed material would have come out there.
And you would have had your mercury.
That is really cool. Imagine dragging this down
They
here.
call that portable. That's actually super portable. Because at the museum they have one of these, but it's like 6 or 9 stamps in a circle, and they call that one portable. This is very, very portable.
I agree, but still, given how steep that hill was, it would
2
not.
donkeys.
Well, would not have been easy. Now, I still am at a loss as to what this is. Do you have any ideas on that?
Yes. Air. Because there's the blower attached to it.
Oh.
So, however, I don't know how it works, because this, I don't want to move that wood because it's too fragile, but
yeah.
Pivot this thing, I think left, right, up and down.
I don't know how. Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah, because this wheel is in line with a smaller wheel that would run the blower here.
Yeah.
So, however it was powered, it looks like it ran the blower.
Interesting. I was speculating that may have been a wooden ore car, but a little more thought. That's probably the bucket that was on it. Still, wooden frame. Pretty cool.
What's the answer for this guy, though?
What that is?
Yes. Maybe it's just a subcomponent or something. We're not. Could be just something here.
Yeah. Lots of historical stuff here. And this, I'm guessing, is just high grade from the mine or the creek behind us.
Yeah, you can just see pure gold in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking around some more, there's just historical artifacts all over the place. There's this old wheel here for sharpening tools, which, you don't see that. Another thing you never see is the anvil. How often you see anvils at abandoned mines? And this is obviously not a new one. They used it, but that is almost certainly an anvil that was already down here. See the old spikes? This is probably stuff they found inside the mine and hauled out. By the way, it looks like there's another adit across the way. And the historical literature we read that put us onto the site in the first place describes an adit on the other side of the creek, which does look like there's a waste rock pile across the way. So there's still a lot of work to be done at this site. Speaking of waste rock, I'm standing on the waste rock pile from the mine there, but still want to finish looking around this camp. There's a shack down here we'll check in a second. More historical artifacts here. You've got the very uniquely shaped shovel right there. Still has some of the wooden handle. You've got a very old rusted hatchet with the wood still embedded in it. Hammer. Got some picks. Old saw. I don't think I showed this yet. You've got, well, old vise there. More shovels, picks, and all kinds of hammer heads, axe heads, ore car wheel, wood stove components. So it must have been a bunkhouse about where I'm standing. These trees are newer, so imagine it without them being there. And you've got the retaining walls here. Sort of a good place for the miners to live. Maybe a little workshop. Oh, wow. Pirate. What a good band of pirate. That's cool. Was that just sitting around?
Yeah.
Huh. You don't see pyrite veins like that very often. You see bits and pieces of it, not veins. Got more old miney stuff. Bits of rail and such. Speaking of rail, there's a lot more of it down here. Looks like stovepipe, some vent pipe. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And then, you still can't really get a good view of, at least on the screen, it's not showing up too much, but there's a definite, looks like there's a landing over there, so we will need to check that out. Give you some better views of the creek too. It's a pretty creek. Still up on top, just want to show you a couple things about the remains of the wood stove here. You've got the date there, the 1865. And then I'll show you a quick peek inside the shack. And then I think we'll go across the way. There's a cable running across the way over there. I can see a stone wall over there. So probably do that next. Alright, there are more artifacts down here, and then of course the modern mining stuff mixed in. Got a cool block and, or part of a block and tackle system here hanging off a drill steel. That's really cool. And then a ton of drill steel down there. Quick look inside. Kind of a cool little shack that they made here. Probably built on top of the original foundation. See the stone and then the more modern cut wood. Just looks like mining tools and rotting camping equipment. A pan and classifier down there. Waders. I see waders there. Pretty nice setup. All right, there is the camp that we were just checking out. The adit we explored is there. Followed the trail across the creek, and looks like there was an adit. It may have just been surface cut, hard to tell, but whatever was here, you can see has pancaked down badly in the serpentine. And actually, that's about knee height right there, and that doesn't look caved. That just looks like that's the original layer. So I'm going to go with the idea that this was just a surface cut that they were picking at. They made the rock wall I saw from the distance was this here. A few little artifacts on top. That's a magnet, so looks like they picked up a few little bits of metal. Now, interestingly, there's this pile of quartz right here, and I'm guessing there might have been a quartz vein running through that band of serpentine there, and that may have been what attracted their interest. Interestingly, so you've got this cable running across from the mining camp there. They even built a landing right here to receive things coming across on the cable. The view of the creek down there. All of that would seem to suggest that there's more over here, and in fact, there's a decent looking trail running up that way. So gonna go grab the packs. I don't know what this pipe is for either. Gonna go grab the packs, follow this trail, because there are supposed to be other mines in the area. And of course there's always lots of mines that don't end up in the books or the maps. So, and we still have that one across the way. So I'll go grab the packs and we'll start running this trail out. We followed the trail up and did not find an adit. We found a spring. So that's a valid reason to have a trail, and now we understand why this trail was here at least. And there's a cut just up there, but it's just a surface cut. And the reason I know that is because they just went and checked it out. So looks like we're going across the creek next. Pretty big trees down here. It's been a while since, if ever, this was logged. I say if ever, which I normally wouldn't say for these mountains, but we are really out there. Hard to tell. We were just looking around up the hill there and have come down to the pretty creek and are in the process of crossing on the log here. Hello, dog. There's a better view upstream, and at the bottom of this waste rock pile across the way, although you probably still can't see it on the screen, but it's up there. So we'll head up there and see what we've got. The mining camp is across the way. You can see we've made it up the waste rock pile to where the adit was. You can see some of the ore that came out of the adit. Highly mineralized. The adit, I'll spare you the suspense, is behind us. And you can see that is a no-go, and furthermore, there's a big pit where it's caved back there as well. So we won't be going in this one today. But that's not to say that this was entirely uninteresting. Went way that way and a little way that way, and we found several surface outcroppings that had been cut into a bit, but they must not have assayed out too well. Over here, I got some interesting things. You've got, this is a big pile of rail. It's all rail. And we have the remains of a wooden ore car here. This is the frame, the metal frame for the wooden ore car. That would have been the door there, and then the wood would have been there. We've got the ore car wheels there. So that's pretty cool. Interestingly, the miners across the way built this little hidden bunker over here, which I'm assuming they would have placed pine branches and things like that over. So, what sort of valuable stuff? What sort of valuable stuff are they hiding over here? Well, nothing here. That's empty. Which means that this definitely gonna have something valuable in it, because you wouldn't do this much work. So it's heavy. Oh wow. Oh yeah, I can see why they definitely want to keep that hidden. Yeah, you don't see rusty nails like that every day. Yeah, that's definitely worth digging a little hidden bunker into the hillside for. No question about it. Were there any surface cuts over this way when you walked over there? Okay, nothing.
And I went up there, and this thing's probably been collapsed since before that fire came through.
Okay. That way there were a couple little surface cuts, but nothing of note. Like the remains of a wood stove over here. I must have had a little cabin over here. And this adit, I think this waste rock pile is bigger than the one across the way. Plus there's more rail over here, so I'm assuming this was the larger of the two historical adits. We're taking a closer look at this collection of museum level artifacts over here, and I want to share with you what we found. I'll start with the little mini stamp mill here that we reassembled, or partially reassembled. You can see we've got the top part connected to the base, and we've got the stamp here, and you can see the cam here is would have, when this is straight, it would have been level with this and would catch on that and would lift it up and down. The ore would have gone in here. You can see by the size of my hand that the ore had to have been fairly small, but we gotten crushed by the stamp there on that shoe in there, and then it would have come out here. Furthermore, we've got some company specific info for you. That looks like Justinia Care Company, Caire, and I'm assuming that's Justinia, because it looks like there might have been an S right there, which I've never heard of that company actually. Have you? Nope. And over here, got the patent number something 1900, and over here I see San Francisco. So hopefully somebody can do a little research for us and tell us more about that. Can you demonstrate how that would open and close?
It's hinged here. We had to take it apart and reassemble it, but it won't go any further than that. A lock on the front, you just loosen that.
And that's that.
Tip back, and then you can clean it out.
So you'd clean it out and service it. Not light, but pretty handy in terms of accessibility. And we believe this engine powered that wheel. And I don't know antique engines well enough to tell you much about it, so I'm not gonna embarrass myself. I do see a number right there. Hopefully you can make that out. What else? There's a better view of the ore car. You can see how the brake would work now. Exactly. So here's, thank you. You see, but you press down on that, puts pressure there, and that would actually be pretty handy. Furthermore, when we pulled this blower away, I'll show you in a minute, it revealed the manufacturer's plate here, which is upside down, but it says Joshua Hendy Machine Works, San Francisco, California. So that took quite a journey. The blower, obviously a hand-powered blower. I don't even need to tell you how rare that is. And down here, I've got some identifying information. I see Western Chief, Chicago, Illinois. Auto manufacturer, can't remember, Gennady, perhaps, auto manufacturing company. And Chicago Heights, Illinois. This really is museum level stuff, and as I say,
hey, real quick, interesting feature on the ore car, piece of rail built into it, maybe as a repair.
Yeah, looks like some homemade contraption. Miners are very resourceful.
They bolted it down, they relieved it for this shaft here.
Yeah. Huh. Well, like I always say, you know, I talk about how much stuff gets looted from abandoned mines. This was not a big mine, as you recall. This was actually quite a small mine, and yet look how much stuff was here. So imagine how much gets looted from the big mines. Continuing with our theme over here, I was reluctant to say this because I don't want to sound stupid, but I think this might have been a small crusher. And you would need, I would think, to crush most of the ore to get it to fit in here. Now, I'm not even going to try and explain how it would have worked, but it would make sense that you would need a crusher. And this could have powered 2 belts, so maybe even this. We can't figure out what this wooden rudder looking thing is for, but perhaps that was belt powered, and then they could have switched belts between this and this, or the blower. They could have gotten a lot of utility out of that. There's Jake making his way out.
The rock got pretty bad back there, and it collapsed open enough to get over it. But
did you hit a face, or?
Yeah, I hit 2 faces.
Okay.
Two different drifts.
How many feet of workings would you estimate?
I don't know, 120 feet to the first back, and this one's 20 feet.
Okay. And just quartz and timbers?
A lot of quartz, better veins than below.
Oh, any rail?
No rail, and they marked 2014, so I bet those guys did dig us out.
Oh, wow. Must be old stuff. The mining camp is down there. The adit we just explored is about right there, and came up another level. And guess what? Bunch of quartz stacked here. I'm standing on waste rock, and lo and behold, another adit right there. And this looks like a really old one. Big trees back here. But this one was actually this one and the one below seem very old. They aren't in any of the written descriptions, so they seem to predate the lower workings by a fairly significant degree. Just inside the portal, and there's Gobbing to my right. Jake's coming in behind me. To the left is actually some pretty impressive quartz vein action. Goes from the mine dog all the way up to the back. That is thick. So I can see all the old timers were interested. You can see rotted old timber there. That's it for the way of infrastructure and artifacts so far, but it is just lousy with quartz in here. There's a drift running straight that looks likely caved, but might be able to climb over. To the left, it faces out there, and you can see what's interesting is you have that big gob of quartz running to the left, and then it just suddenly pinches out. I see a couple stringers, and that's it. And you see overhead too. You just see a couple stringers. So that did not last long. That's classic pocket. I don't see any sign of drill marks or anything like that. This is everything about this is screaming old. Now, fortunately, I'm gonna have to go back there and see about climbing over that, which I'm not excited about. At first, I was happy to get a better mine than Jake just got, but now I might be paying my dues. Doesn't see any sign of rail. I am on the bottom. Oh yeah, I have to climb. Oh man, this is bad. Can't tell if this is, it might be a stope up there. I'm gonna have to put the camera away and climb up on that, and I'll regroup. That's the chamber. I was just sizing up from the other side. Jake's standing on a pile of collapsed quartz, and it does keep going for a very short distance to here, and there's no sign of quartz except for the tiny little stringer right there. So obviously they stopped because of that. And yeah, it's just tiny little stringers. It was interesting, very much a pocket back there by the portal. So no surprise, I worked it out. And then where Jake is, there's a decent amount of quartz. They probably took a little bit out there, but a lot of that caved in too.
You know, Justin, if you look up here, they might have been bamboozled. There's actually a massive amount of quartz here.
Yeah?
And right opposite, you can see all these folds and veins. And they're all about, I don't know, maybe 18 inches above the back, the original back.
Ah.
So if this isn't a pocket, if this is just a complete collapse, they were under the vein and they couldn't find it.
Ah, they should have just gone up a little.
So
yeah.
Come back up in here, take a better look. It's all the way up there, so that means it was like 6 feet above their head. There was still a good vein.
So it's probably a fortune in gold just over our heads.
Probably, yeah. They were chasing it. They came in too low, and they never went up on it, so they didn't know it was there. They just kept running straight.
Interesting.
So it's a theory. Check it out. This is a good amount of quartz in here. I don't know why they wouldn't have stoped this out or chased it up instead of just punching that way where there was nothing.
Yeah. I was just down there, and this is the vein structure in front of me that Jake was talking about. You can see that it runs over to this side as well. And the original back would have been down about there. So they missed all of this. It's very crumbly quartz. I'm not surprised it caved. You can almost just break it up with your bare hand. Yeah, see bits and pieces of it raining down. Yeah, it's very crumbly. But there's a lot of it here.